Belarus is building up a regional grouping of troops together with Russia. Personnel, weapons, military and special equipment of the Russian army are arriving in the country.
Further combat coordination activities are planned with the arriving units at the training grounds of the Republic of Belarus. In addition, in order to improve the level of combat training of the aviation units of the armed forces of the Republic of Belarus and the Russian Federation, which are part of the aviation component of the regional grouping of forces, it is planned to conduct a joint tactical flight exercise. The Ministry of Defense of the Republic of Belarus on Telegram.
And all this was made in order to cool down the West. As the self-proclaimed president of Belarus, Alexander Lukashenko, says, Ukraine has already reacted to what is happening in Belarus. The commander of the Kyiv Defense Forces Group, Lieutenant General Alexander Pavlyuk, says that if Russian troops, whether together with Belarusians or not, try to attack Ukraine again from the north, then they will face minefields, rubble and fortifications of the Ukrainian army.
The Kyiv region has prepared quite well for a possible new offensive. These are several lines around Kyiv with a total length of 1,000 kilometers, where a powerful defense system has been created on the basis of fortification positions and long-term defensive structures. It will be impossible to pass it easily. Alexander Pavlyuk, commander of the grouping of forces and means of defense of Kyiv, Lieutenant General, on the air of the teleson.
If you want peace, prepare for war is a narrative that has been actively promoted by Belarusian state channels for a year now. The information campaign is connected with the possible participation of the Lukashenko's regime in the war against Ukraine.
Belarusians are being told that Lukashenko is the guarantor of peace. The bottom line is that no matter how much we want propaganda that we hear and see every day remain in our minds somewhere, even smart people can be affected by this kind of a propaganda bomb.
According to experts, a principal agreement has now been reached with Putin on Lukashenko's complicity in the war against Ukraine.
Lukashenko already openly supports and participates in the war. He openly supports Putin, and whenever journalists ask him, he confirms that the Russian military is being treated in Belarus. Russian tanks are being repaired there, and he provides Russia with missiles. But which didn't happen, it's the entry of Belarusian troops to the war. But this is rather not thanks to Lukashenko, but despite his actions.
Belarusian dictator is unable to resist Putin, and when he needs more from him, Lukashenko will do it, experts say.
Those rumors that are spreading today about the Northern Front from the territory of Belarus in Ukraine will be open in February or in March are not just rumors, but real forecast of serious military experts. And honestly, if Putin decides to open the front, it is unlikely that Lukashenko will be able to stop him.
Meanwhile, the Lukashenko regime's repressive machine continues to gain momentum. Today, citizens of Belarus risk ending up in jail for posting on social media, and the prospect that Belarus could also be drawn into a war against Ukraine is increasingly encouraging people to leave the country. For the phrase "Long live Belarus," you can get a prison term. Denis Gerasimchuk allowed himself to pronounce it only when he migrated to Poland. Now he lives in Warsaw and has opened his own business.
We all used to hope for the best, but when we saw this unbelievable cruelty, when people were simply beaten, treated like animals, like some kind of creatures but not people, it was a shock for Belarusians, and it is still within us. It's a trauma which I do not know when we will get over, because we have the feeling of powerlessness.
There are dozens of people like Denis. Many try to leave Belarus while there is still an opportunity. Those who remain in the country are preparing for the fact that they will have to desert or surrender in case of mobilization. But the direct participation of the Belarusian army in the war against Ukraine will be suicide for the self-proclaimed president, as experts and Belarusian opposition politicians claim. After all, neither the military leadership nor ordinary citizens of Belarus want to fight against Ukraine, and the entry of Belarus into the war can lead to the unpredictable consequences for the internal stability of the country. Reported by Diana Kolesnik, Yulia Granovska, UATV News.